Alrighty, hello everybody. Welcome to another episode of Who the Hell Asked. I am your host, Byron, alongside my co-host, Mr. Sleepyhead Slade.
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
It's going alright. How's it going with you besides being tired?
Oh, I'm just doing fantastic. 3 hours sleep. You know how it is. But no, we're still doing pretty good. So without any
Yeah,
further ado, let's go ahead and get underway with all the news from this week.
yeah, not a lot, but we're starting off with something different. Microsoft is rebranding Xbox Live to Xbox Network.
Yeah, so I saw this, and I believe it was last Monday where the story kind of broke out. But essentially, it seems that they're rebranding, Xbox Live as a whole, and
Yes.
they're changing some things about it. For example, games that have free to play are free to play and have free to play online will no longer require the Xbox Live or I guess Xbox Network paywall.
Yeah. We covered that briefly, I want to say like 5 episodes ago.
Yeah, so this seems to be that step in the direction that they're aiming towards. It seems to be a complete 180 from when they were trying to, hike up the prices for Xbox Live Gold.
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah, because people were finding it in like some menus, the dashboard referring to it as simply just the Xbox Network,
Yeah,
and obviously, yeah, the free to play requirement subscription. Still not confirmed exactly when the paywall will be removed, but we do know it will be removed at some point.
for sure.
So I guess,
So,
so I guess this is just more of a name thing, but there wasn't that much news. But this is one of the bigger stories of the week.
yeah.
Because
So,
Xbox Live has been a name for so long that now it's like, oh, it's going to be the Xbox Network. Could this mean more than
absolutely.
games, though? Who knows?
Yeah, there's honestly a lot of questions there on what else is going to change with the rebrand, but as I
Yeah.
said, we just simply don't have that info yet.
Yeah.
Pretty much the only thing they've touched on was that paywall.
Yeah.
So,
So from a story to the what the fuck story of the week.
oh yeah, this is some really interesting news. I'm actually kind of shocked.
So
Niantic and Nintendo are teaming up to create another Pokemon Go style game featuring Pikmin.
Pikmin, yes, Pikmin. A game designed for what? It's like a strategy game, kind of
Yeah,
like a
kind
real-time
of like a
strategy.
puzzle strategy game, resource management.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
this yeah, apparently, yeah, this title will be the first title created by Niantic Tokyo Studios, which is apparently a subsidiary of Niantic or like a development studio created in 2018. So this
interesting.
is probably all they've been working on, but the first in a series of apps that the two companies will develop together. This title is designed to make walking more fun. Now, I for Pokemon, I very much could see how a AR style game could work. Because Pokemon, you walk around, you find the Pokemon, gotta catch them all. You know, I don't see that with Pikmin though.
Well, the thing is, I don't think Pikmin's going to have that same mainstream wide appeal
Oh,
that Pokemon
absolutely. I'm
had.
just
And to be fair, nothing really kind of gets that kind of crazy boom anyway.
well,
It's
yeah.
just really unfortunate that they're releasing this in the middle of a pandemic,
A,
a deadly
yes.
pandemic.
Yes. B, I just don't see how a Pikmin AR game is gonna work. Like I've tried to puzzle my head to how it's gonna work since this was announced a few days ago, and I'm just like, what? How is this gonna fucking work?
I'm going to withhold judgment for anything involving gameplay specifically, simply because we just don't know because we
Yeah,
haven't
yeah,
seen
we don't know
anything.
what shape, what form this is gonna take.
Yeah, but I'll say this: Pikmin isn't exactly a series that has had a lot of success in general,
Yes. Yep.
and I think this game's gonna ultimately flop. Not even because like people aren't interested in Pikmin, but because, like I said, we're in the middle of a global pandemic.
Well, Pokemon
That
Go is still kind of popping off huge.
yeah, but I
But
don't
but that's
know.
also Pokemon.
Yeah, I just it's going to be very interesting to see what happens with this game, but I think 90% of people are expecting it to flop in some way, shape, or form. So,
Oh, this is absolutely gonna flop. But hey, this could be a maybe this is the Pikmin 4 that's been
yeah, or maybe this is like the Pikmin that makes the
I've
breakthrough
heard people
or
say, "Oh,
something.
like hey Pikmin was the Pikmin 4 all along." But the mystery of Pikmin 4, I guess, still lives on. I
Yeah.
guess. Ah. And so GameStop was popping off horror with news.
Yeah, so let's go over this in order. First, they had their earnings call
Yes.
on Monday, and they
Yes, they did.
displayed that. And naturally, to absolutely nobody's surprise, their fourth quarter earnings were abysmal. Um, Brick and mortar store, middle of a pandemic, of an already failing business. I don't think anybody was terribly surprised there, right?
Yeah, there were some increases though. Comparable store sales did increase by 6.5%, but their net worth
Yes.
decreased by about 100 by about like I want to say like 70 million. Looks like.
Yeah,
Looks like about
which
like 72
actually
million.
isn't as bad as like you would think a company that was already would struggle in the middle of the pandemic.
Yeah.
But there's also a lot of things attributed to that. Number one, a lot of additions to the board, like most notably Ryan Cohen
Mhm.
and whatnot.
Yeah.
Um, Speaking of additions to the board, I guess we could talk about subtractions from the board.
Yeah.
Reggie Fils-Aimé, among multiple others, have left GameStop.
After yep.
And I think for a lot of people, they thought that this was in reaction to like some sort of bad news in terms of like the stock overall, as well as like the company in a direction. But I think this is more of kind of a shakeup to try to rebrand GameStop as an online community. And they're removing people who aren't very well equipped to move in that direction. As I said, Ryan Cohen said he wants to make GameStop the Chewy of the video game market.
Yeah, so alongside Reggie, a few other notable names was veteran retail business executive Bill Simmons and PetSmart CEO J.K. Symancyk were also they also formally quit alongside some others that were unnamed.
Yeah. So as I said, this I don't think this is necessarily bad news like a lot of people took it. I think this is just the company trying to go in a different direction than what was, planned last year before Ryan Cohen, acquired as much power as he did and got on the board and stuff, right?
Yeah,
So,
and overall, comparable store sales decreased for the overall 2020 by 9.5%, which
which,
is
as I said, is still not as bad as I think a lot of people were predicting
yeah,
overall.
I thought it was going to be really bad.
Oh yeah. I
Really
mean, it
bad.
was bad before, so
Yeah.
maybe that's why.
Yeah.
But that in turn ended up actually not being anywhere near as bad that a
Mhm.
lot of people would predicted. But
Yeah.
like I say, it's still bad overall.
Yeah,
And
and you mentioned something earlier about e-commerce. Well, global e-commerce sales increased 191% for the fiscal year and represented nearly 30% of total net sales.
yes, so I think they're going to get to the point where they've completely, rebrand themselves as kind of like an online store overall. Um, when the news of the both Reg and Neil's leaving the board as well as the earnings call came out,
Mhm.
for a lot of people who like followed the stock, it kind of like dropped really low. I think it dropped as low as $126 at some point.
Damn.
But since then, it's made a massive recovery, and it's been hovering between, 180 and $200.
Yeah.
Pretty much where it's been sitting before the whole thing. So
hmm
for those who are purely invested just on the stock side of things, people are still buying and holding for the gamma squeeze.
Yep.
That's going to happen.
Hashtag,
So,
hashtag diamond hands. Hashtag to the moon, baby.
but
To the moon.
usually when it comes to situations like these, a company's results rarely matter. So,
Yeah, and they did reduce their overall debt by 57 million, including a 125 million dollar voluntary redemption of the company's 6.75% senior notes due 2021. So basically, they kind of pulled an AMC. Their stock got so big that they recovered some debt,
yeah,
which is
so
insane.
yeah, it is pretty insane. And as I said, there's a lot of good news to attach to this. Speaking of some of the good news involving GameStop, they are planning on selling PC parts, including RTX 3000 graphic cards.
Yeah. Uh,
That was quite surprising,
yeah.
actually.
Well, GameStop has sold a few minor PC stuff here and there. Like I've seen them sell like capture cards and a few other things, maybe like some mice, maybe a keyboard here and there. But they're going whole hog, like Micro Center, Newegg, Amazon. Like we're getting into the PC space.
Yeah, so to me, this is something that they probably weren't willing to do before, simply because they don't really make a profit off PC gaming in general, simply because everybody tends to buy online through like Steam or Epic Game Store and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it doesn't entice them to sell PCs and PC parts
hmm
because those aren't going to be returning customers for them.
Yeah.
But this decision kind of hints towards their, goals and objectives to becoming more of an online store than a brick and mortar store.
Yeah, because this was announced during that earnings call that basically it will expand its product catalog, including growing our product offerings across PC gaming, computers, monitors, game tables, whatever that refers to, whether it's like I think board gaming tables or like gaming like desks, mobile gaming and
Yeah.
gaming TVs, to name only a few. And on the sites, you could look this up. Uh, there are graphics cards available, but a few other listings say the products won't arrive until April 16th.
Yeah.
So GameStop getting into PC gaming. Your thoughts? They're getting in.
As I said, I think this is really hinting towards their goals to, as I said, transition to an online store overall.
Yeah.
And I think this is a good step in the right direction, though I think it's a bit odd considering there's such a massive PC part shortage overall, especially for
Yes.
like graphics card and stuff like that.
Yes, and we'll
That
get to
it's
that
kind
in a
of
moment.
strange that they're inserting themselves into the market, even though they probably don't have the parts right now. But I mean, as I said, overall, this is good news for anybody who's invested in watching and GameStop and hoping for their success overall.
And potentially for PC gamers, this might be another place to try, anyways, to try and get graphics cards
Yeah.
in the present and in the future.
And as I said, I don't think they make this move if they don't have big plans for their online infrastructure.
Yeah, because it's obviously been a huge success lately. The 175% increase, and it representing 34% of the sales in the fourth quarter, and it increasing overall to 30% of sales. Like it's only, I feel like it might only go up from here.
Yeah. I
And
think depending on, how this works, because I think ultimately, they're going to have to come out with some sort of app or something, kind of like your Steams and your Epic Game Stores of the world have in order to be successful.
mm,
I think for a lot of people, they're just happy that overall, see if they're kind of moving away towards that used car salesman type.
Yeah, the
Buy used games, please, blah, 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 and try to push you towards useless power up rewards cards and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I'm actually looking right now at the GameStop page, and they actually have a few PC parts on sale right now. They have
Yeah.
a Ghost Canyon Nook with RTX 2060 graphics. They have a few desktops with RTX 2070 graphics, some speakers, a couple of, I think, one Intel motherboard, the Tough Gaming Z490, and then an ROG Strix B550 AMD motherboard. So they have a few things right now. They've got some microphones, adjustable microphone stands for the streamers and stuff. So they have some PC part stuff right now. They don't have any graphics cards at the moment. But
well, as looking at some of this right now, I mean, obviously the graphics cards are already sold out to nobody's surprise whatsoever.
to nobody's surprise. I will disagree with you on one thing. I don't think they enter the Steam Epic Games style of being a digital marketplace for games. I think they lean more towards being a digital marketplace for components.
See, I think I'm going to disagree with you there based on the principle that people who typically buy, components of, PCs and stuff like that, they're not really return customers.
I guess that's true. That's
because
true
in the
to
end,
an
GameStop's going to
extent.
be competing against a bunch of other companies that are also trying to release these, parts and whatnot. It's like GameStop wouldn't sell PS5s, Xbox Series X's, and stuff like that if they didn't also sell their games and stuff like that in their stores.
And as they showed, they did sell like some like PC games. I don't think they're gonna go full like Steam or Epic. I just think they'll probably like.
I think they would have to go full Steam or Epic in order to stay alive in the market, just completely. Simply because that I don't feel like there's a future for them. That they continue to dig their feet and like stick to this brick and mortar type store that, as I said, they're planning on making GameStop the Chewy of video games, right? So there's either one of two approaches they're going to take. They're going to try to make an online store that's like Steam or Epic, or they're going to try to make an online store that has their own ability to ship to where you could buy physical products.
Yeah, that's
but it's going to be as accessible as Chewy and whatnot. But
that's where I think the latter is where more so I think they're more than likely heading towards.
That's fair. I think it's one of those two, but to me, I just don't really see a future where they ship like just physical video games, whatnot in general. I think they have this. They're in this weirdly unique position to where, honestly, if they wanted to, they could do both.
They could.
And I feel like that should be the approach the company should take.
They could do
because
both.
If they have this option, you could either buy the game digitally for them, they get a percentage of the cut. Yeah. Or you could buy it physically and they ship it out to you and whatnot. I feel like they could actually have a lot of success as a store.
Yeah.
Featuring like a dual business type platform like that.
Yeah, they could. And if it works out successfully, then hey, GameStop is able to recover. And if not, they are going to be featured in a Company Man video in like a year's time.
Oh, yeah. Well, as I said, investors everywhere are going to be talking about this GameStop situation for years and years and years to come, right?
Like people, they're
going to be teaching this stuff in schools.
Isn't there dead ass going to be a documentary on the GameStop stock stuff?
Oh yeah, eventually.
It's
gonna have to pay out first, but yeah.
Yeah, but you mentioned it earlier, Slade. Graphics cards are really fucking hard to get right now.
Yes.
And
So
it's about to become even harder. So TSMC, Taiwan Semiconductors, and Micron face red alert for GPU, CPU, and memory productions as water crisis worsens. So for those who don't know, there is a water crisis going on in Taiwan right now. And yeah, it's had its first water supply red alert in 6 years. And right now it's and right now the alerts are near areas where TSMC and Micron are near. They're not in those areas yet, but those companies are preparing for the inevitable, which will mean it's going to be even harder to get graphics cards, CPUs, and memory than it already was. And it's already been really hard to get that stuff the
yeah.
past few months. Not even including the recent Suez Canal situation.
Yeah, which apparently there were a graphics card on that boat.
Yes, there
So
were, and some other items, but yeah, there were some graphics cards on there. That chip is finally free, so those graphics cards will go somewhere. But if you want to build a PC, good luck. Good luck in 2021. It ain't looking real good.
yeah, the more that I look at PC building, the more I get kind of pessimistic for it overall. Because so the price of all these are just going to keep hiking. Scalpers pretty much have the majority of what's out there on the market right now.
Yeah, scalpers are. I've said this in a few other like chats and Discord servers I've been in. Scalpers are like piracy. Good luck stopping them
Yeah.
because it's inevitable.
Yeah, it's inevitable. It's not going to
But yeah,
happen.
like man, PC components have had the 1, 2, 3 punch of the pandemic, cryptocurrency coming back into vogue like it's fucking 2017, and now all this stuff. It's insane with PC. Like some people, Slade, have been buying pre-built systems from people like iBuyPower, CyberPower, NZXT, and just taking the graphics cards and selling them because you could get a pre-built for cheaper than you can get some of these graphics cards these days, which is insane.
Right.
Which is like even a few now a good thing though is that the pre-builts didn't increase in price like they did back in 2017 when the first cryptocurrency craze was going hog wild, luckily. But and this stuff is even affecting Slade like phones, cars even. Electric
Oh, yeah.
cars are being affected by this. Yeah, so this headline is right. It's going to have some potentially catastrophic effects because this is going to affect everybody. The interruptions at this juncture would stunt production efforts affecting companies like Intel, AMD, Nvidia, Apple, Kingston, and many more. And TSMC have been running drills to prepare for the worst case scenario and is planning to increase its reliance on tankers for water, including last month they ran emergency maneuvers. So this is fucking bonkers.
Yeah, it's pretty terrible
This
what's
is
going on overall.
yeah,
I
like
hope that the situation improves. I hope the drought just ends for them, honestly. But
yeah, like I predicted during our predictions video at the beginning of this year that PC parts would continue to be hard to get, and I wish I didn't. I didn't want to be right on this, but look at this.
yeah,
But look at
and as I said, the situation looks like it's only going to get worse from there
this.
overall.
I
So
hope it recovers before it gets worse for the sake of everybody involved. For obviously in this case, hopefully the water crisis ends for everybody in Taiwan. I hope
yeah, that's the most important thing, honestly.
yeah, and then I hope companies can get back to normal producing or at least producing to a somewhat normal level so that we don't have people buying pre-builts just to get the graphics card and sell everything else. And
That honestly seems to be a trend that might be starting pretty soon if it hasn't started already.
what
Like
trend?
People buying the pre-builds to get
Oh.
the graphics cards.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because you could get like a, I think from NZXT you could probably get like a 3060 build for like $1,000 maybe, and you could probably make your money back, which is sad, but not unexpected in this this environment.
Not at all. Not at all.
Yeah. TSMC does claim that the new restrictions would not affect operations, but I highly doubt that. But yeah, there is hope on the horizon. There is hope though, Slade. The rainy season is supposed to be on its way in Taiwan. So cross your fingers, everybody. Cross your fingers for the semiconductor industry, and for the people in Taiwan. Cross your fingers. So yeah, that was
right.
That was the episode, and we do have one more thing to announce. So Slade, what will we be doing here in the future?
Oh yeah, so in the near future, me and Byron are going to do a playthrough of It Takes Two. This was made by the developer who developed A Way Out. He was at the Game Awards saying "fuck the Oscars" that one year. Honestly, really great games. I heard a lot of great things about It Takes Two, and then I also thoroughly enjoyed A Way Out a lot.
Yes.
So that is something Byron and I are going to do. We're possibly going to put that on the channel for those who are interested. But
yeah, but that should be an absolutely fun time. And we'll probably be doing more co-op games.
Yeah, and who knows? This could open the door to a lot of games we could do on the channel in the future if people are interested in it.
Yeah.
So stay tuned.
So this has been Byron.
And this has been Slade.
Hope you all have a good day. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel. Comment down below. And we will see you all next week. Bye-bye.
Take it easy, everybody.